You think it's easy? You try it. Trying to come up with the 5 guys that should be in the Hall of Fame. Not that we can't find 5 guys. The problem, there's a lot of other guys. You know, there's Kenny Stabler and Andre Reed and Tim Brown and Richard Dent, Chris Coleman. You know, you got Charles Haley on your list. I don't have him on mine.
I'm not done.
Richard Dent, why you? You mean a Super Bowl MVP?
Come on, man. So is Larry Brown. So is Deion Branch. All right? I mean, come on, man.
You gotta disrespect Deion Branch.
Come on, man.
Alright, we gotta get back.
I'll tell you who else is a Hall of Famer is my friend's Austin Wholesale Decking.
What's up, Z?
That's exactly right, man. And I do love Z and Carol and the entire way that Austin Wholesale Decking does business. But the thing that I love about them most is the way that they've dressed up our backyard. They've dressed it up, folks. It's been fantastic. We've had the opportunity to bathe in the sun in the backyard with our brand new deck, and part of it was we were having some issues back there in the back, and Austin Wholesale Decking came out with their experts, and I mean literally, folks, in 2 days, I mean it was just like a complete makeover of our backyard, and now you can enjoy the washer pits back there in the hammock with ease. And maybe you're having the same issue. So what I would do is I'd encourage you first and foremost to start the process. MyDeckDesigner.com takes you all the way through. Now summer is almost over, so you don't want to miss the opportunity to upgrade the quality of your outdoor living. AustinWholesaleDecking.com and ask about the 21% discount on Western Red Cedar, courtesy of your Longhorn Station.
Did you say I could wash my pits in your backyard?
You're right. Washer pits.
What is that?
See, that's just it. I need to bring you back there and bust you in your head then on them real quick. You know what washer pits are. You from the country. It's the only games y'all had, man. Don't get me started on y'all.
All right, we got a few minutes here. Let's get numbers 2 and 1 here. These are the 5 guys on this Top 5 Tuesday that, in our opinion, should already be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What are we talking about? We've already gone through 5, 4, and 3. I had Jack Tatum, Ray Guy, and Cortez Kennedy. Ahmad has
Shannon Sharp, Charles Haley, and TD, better known Terrell Davis.
Please continue. Number 2.
Number 2 for me, I told you I thought that you had Jack Tatum a little bit too low. I had him at number 2.
Okay.
I mean, for what he did, he played 10 seasons, 3 Pro Bowls, 1 Super Bowl. He got there. You talked about his 37 interceptions. And this guy wasn't even, on top of his 37 interceptions, 736 interception yards. He was a threat every time he got a pick. Not only did he intimidate people by being just a terror in the middle of the field and bringing the wood to people. And I've always told you, I think a complete defensive back has ball skills. You can cover no matter how you get it done. And you have the ability to tackle and be great at being the last line of defense. He had it all. I don't understand why this guy's not in, but Jack Tatum, it's an injustice if he doesn't get in next year, especially considering that he's no longer with us.
Yeah. Number 2 on my list is Chris Carter, who finished his career 4th all-time in receiving touchdowns. Think about this now. 4th all-time in receiving touchdowns, 8th in overall touchdowns. So that includes running backs. Only 7 men in the history of the NFL scored more touchdowns than Chris Carter at the time he left the game. Finished his career 3rd all-time in receptions, 8th in receiving yards. He led the NFL 3 times in touchdown catches with Minnesota and also led the league once in receptions. 8 times he went to the Pro Bowl. He was the other wide receiver on the 1990s All-Decade team with Jerry Rice, who you might have recognized this past weekend. If the 2 receivers for the 90s were Jerry Rice and Chris Carter, well, I saw Jerry Rice this weekend. Why wouldn't I see Chris Carter? I do not. I suppose he will eventually get in. I'm just looking through his resume, and I'm not sure exactly why he wasn't first ballot. It's got to. I don't know exactly why. I'm really not sure, but he wasn't. But he should be, and I'm sure he will be. But Chris Carter's number 2 on my list.
He's number 1 for me, and I think part of the reason, John, is I think it has to do with off-the-field issues. I think sometimes, we all know the story about Chris Carter turning his career around. Somewhat of a, went through some things there at Ohio State, and then got in the league, and it just kind of spiraled on down. But I tell you what makes up for that is the job that he did with Randy Moss. Everybody knows that he was a great mentor. He was a great player. You just talked about his numbers, but I think the sign of a true Hall of Famer is giving back to the game. And he did exactly that. Randy Moss will tell you right now his mentor is Chris Carter. He doesn't hesitate when you ask him that question, and part of it is this guy showed him how to be a pro, and he needed it. And you could argue the reason why Randy Moss has had such a great career and potentially a Hall of Fame career is because Chris Carter was there early on in his career. Chris Carter should be in the Hall for sure. He's my number one snub.
Sounds like it's the one guy that you and I both agree on.
Yep.
The other guy we might agree on is Shannon Sharp. You had him where? 5, 4,
Number
5? He's number 1 on my list.
Okay, so I flip-flopped a little
Hey,
bit there.
Shannon Sharp held most of the major records at tight end at the time he left the game.
Chilling.
Now, some of his records Tony Gonzalez now has. Tony's never played for a winner. No disrespect to
It's
Tony
true.
Gonzalez, but
It
he's
is
not.
true.
He hasn't had the pressure on him that Shannon Sharp has.
Very true.
The tight end on the 1990s All-Decade team. We just told you about the 2 receivers on that team. He finished 21st all-time in receptions, 8 Pro Bowl trips, 3 Super Bowl titles, 2 in Denver, 1 in Baltimore. His stats are better than any tight end currently in the Hall of Fame. So how do you explain him not being there? His stats are better than any tight end that's already
With
there.
3 rings.
So how are you going to say, yeah, but he's not a Hall of Famer? What?
That makes no sense.
And a Hall of Fame mouth, too.
He does.
And ugly.
He gets paid to do it, too.
Ugly.
There it is.
All right, that's our top 5. You can check our top 5 lists out on our respective blogs at longhornstation.com.
Beat
Again,
with the ugly stick.
winners all day long. Andrew Davison, you are the latest. You'll receive VIP treatment at Dell Diamond this Friday. Andrew Davison, we will be in touch. Dan Patrick next, AM 1300 The Zone.